Hey everyone, Greg here for Caliber. Today we're going to be talking about our sled wheels. We get a lot of questions about how to put these things together, so today we're going to take a closer look. Stay tuned and we'll get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to get this box cut open, get everything taken out, make sure that we have everything here that we need for assembly. And if you are missing any parts, don't worry, jump on over to our website, caliberproductsinc.com, shoot us a message, we'll get those parts sent out to you so you can make sure you get your assembly completed. We got our instructions, make sure that we do a full inventory count here. We got all of our wheels for installation. We got our arms, our finger covers, our hook and saddle assembly kits, our hardware pack, our handles and our ski stops, and then last but not least, our accessory kit. So now that we have everything taken out of the box, double check your parts list and make sure that you have everything that you need for the assembly of the kit. And then we're gonna take these and go like that. Okay, full disclosure, you're still gonna need the instructions. We're gonna use these for fitment and adjustment for your snowmobiles. We have a guide on the back side, so make sure you keep those. But hopefully this video helps you assemble the kit to a point where you don't need the instructions. With all that being said, make sure you have all your parts. Let's get started. So we're gonna start with the SledWheels accessory kit, get this thing taken out of the box. All right, so there are a couple more tools you're gonna need for the assembly of this kit. You're gonna need a Phillips screwdriver as well as a 255 Torx. If you don't have that, you can also use a number 8 Allen. We do include a 5/32 Allen wrench for the nuts and bolts in the assembly, but if you'd like to use your own, you can certainly do that as well. Okay, so the first thing I like to do here is get our ski stop and our handle installed on the outer extrusion for the SledWheels accessory kit. You'll see on the underside here, there is a mounting hole on the extrusion. There's also a mounting hole on the handle itself. So we're gonna get those to align, then we'll fasten it with the Phillips screws that are included in this kit. It is item number 23. Okay, so we got the first one done. We're gonna get the second one done here really quick. All right, so we got both those set up now. From there, we're gonna move on to our SledWheels hook and saddle assembly kits. Get these out of the box. Okay, so when you pull the hook and saddle assembly kits out of the box, you're gonna see that the locking pin here is gonna be detached from the assemblies. So we're just gonna slide that in. It's gonna make installing these a little bit easier. Okay, so now that we have our hook and saddle assemblies out of the box, what we're going to do is get these installed on the outer extrusion portion that we have here, the part that we just installed the handle and the ski stop on. So one thing we're going to make sure of is that we have the hook side forward facing the front side or facing that handle and ski stop there. There's going to be some capture channels inside the hook and saddle assembly that the extrusion is going to fit into. We'll get that installed just like that. There's going to be 3 pieces of hardware that you're going to need for this step of the assembly. It's going to be part number 11, which is an 1.5 inch long 1/4 bolt, a 1/4 inch washer, which is part number 16, and then part number 15, which is this little square nut as well. So we're gonna get that square nut slid into this extrusion capture channel right here on the back side. And what I like to do is use the bolt here to actually align that with the fastening hole. I'm gonna get the washer installed on the bolt, slide it in like that, get it finger tight, slide it all the way up to the front. Keeps it out of the way for other steps in the assembly. We got that one done. We're gonna move on to the second one here. Pause the video if you need to, get those steps completed, and then we'll move on to the next one. All right, so now that we have the hook and saddle assemblies installed on the outer portions here, they should look a little something like this. We're gonna get these put out of the way. We're gonna get started on the next step. All right, so now that we have the front half of the assembly completed, we're gonna move on to the back half, which means we're gonna start with installing our finger covers on our SledWheels arms. That's gonna be part numbers 6, 7, and then 16 through 19. We'll take a little bit of a closer look at the finger cover options here in a second, but we're gonna get started with just installing the standard finger covers, which are gonna be 16 and 17 on both the right and left arms. All right, so now that we have all the components out of the bag, what we're going to do is install some of these finger covers onto the SledWheels arms. If you do have any questions, there are left and right indicators on both the SledWheels arms and the finger covers, so make sure that you're putting the correct component on the correct side. The finger covers can be a little bit tough to put on sometimes, so like a little bit of lubricant can help in that process, like dish soap or something along the lines of that. After we get these things on, we are going to fasten them in place with number 20 on the parts list, which is a thread forming screw, also a Phillips head, so we already got the screwdriver for that. If they are a little bit more difficult to put on, you can use a little bit of force, tapping them on the floor or something like that. We're gonna go ahead, get all 4 of these installed really quick, get them fastened up, we'll move on to the next step. All right, so now that we have all of our finger covers installed on our SledWheels arms, they should look a little something like this. We're gonna put 2 of these aside because what we're gonna do is we're gonna start working on the wheels here. But before we do that, we're going to talk about the extended finger covers here. So we got 2 of these, 1 for each side. There are some manufacturer snowmobiles that come with snowmobile skis that have uneven keels, and that's what these guys are for. What you'll do is you'll put them on one or other side of the SledWheels arms to accommodate for that height difference on that snowmobile keel. Most snowmobile skis do come with even keels on the snowmobile. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these aside, but if you have those, need them, you can install those on your kit. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do here is we're gonna make sure that we got the hardware components that we need to assemble this part of the kit. So we're gonna need number 1, which is gonna be our wheels. All right, so we're gonna need 2 of these, 2 of our axle bolts, which are gonna be parts number 2. We're gonna need some of the 1/2-inch washers. We're gonna need 2 of those, 1 for each side. We're gonna need our axle nuts, which is gonna be part number 4. And then we're also going to need this provided lubricant that we give you guys to put that on the axles when we install them on the kit here. All right, so we're gonna tear this little pack of lubricant open here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put a couple of beads right on the axle bolt here before we install it onto the kit. I like to put 1 along each side, so that way when you're putting it inside the wheel here, I kind of spin it at the same time and coat the inside of the hub on the wheel. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna install the washer on the back side of the wheel. Then we're gonna use the nylock nut here, put it on the inside of the SledWheels arm, and we're just gonna thread that thing in until it's hand tight. Okay, we got that one done. Now we're gonna move on to the second. Like I said, just 1 little bead of the lubricant on each side of the bolt. Slide that into the hub as we twist. Make sure we coat that on the inside. These are bearingless wheels, so that's why it's important to put the lubricant on. Again, washer on the back side. Slide that into the SledWheels arm. Get the nut fitted in there. We're just gonna thread that up. So this is where the T55 comes into play. We can tighten these things up. And like I said, if you don't have a T55, what you can use is a number 8 Allen. That's not included in the instructions, but that is something you can use. So we're gonna get these tightened up. We're gonna move on to the next set and then move on to the next step. All right, if you need to, pause the video here. So now that we have all the wheels fastened and secured to the SledWheels arms, go back through, double check everything's tight and good to go for both the wheels and the finger covers. From there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on. We're gonna get these things fastened and secured to the T-handles here. This is part number 10. Like I said, go through, double check all that stuff. All right, so we have 1 set of arms and wheels out of the way here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started by putting the first set of arms on the first T-handle extrusion. Again, this is part number 11, and then we also completed these assemblies already. You're gonna see on the back side here that there is a small arrow indicator. What that's gonna do is indicate the degree of angle for the approach on the ski loop. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna change the overall angle for how the hook and saddle assembly engages the ski loop. We have 0 degrees and 15 degrees. We're gonna set at 0 degrees, and what that's gonna do is allow us to change down the road if we need to change that approach angle for the capture on the ski loop. So that's gonna be with the arrow on the front side of this thick part on the extrusion. You'll see a little part line here. The bottom side of that's gonna be 0 degrees. The top side of that's gonna be 15 degrees. We're going to go ahead and get these installed here really quick. Then we're going to talk about the hardware. First arm installed on the T handle here. We match that angle to the second arm. So what we're going to do now is talk about hardware. So the three pieces that you're going to need for this part of the installation is going to be the 1-inch quarter 20. This is part number 13 on the parts list. We're also going to need 4 of the 1/4-inch washer, which is part number 16 on the parts list, and we'll also need 4 of the quarter 20 locking nut. That's part number 14 on the parts list. So 1 washer per bolt. We'll slide that in the top side here. There is a recessed hex area on the back side for the hex nut to fit in, so when you tighten this up, it's not going to spin in place. Keep that nice and tight. What we're going to do is we're going to match that. We're going to run all 4 of these in, and then when we get them tightened up, just remember when we're putting these things together, we don't want to tighten them too much because we are going to need to adjust the width of the arms once we get them onto the snowmobile. So we'll go finger tight, throwing these things on here right now, and then we'll just give them a little turn with the Allen once we get past that. So like I said, not too tight, just enough to keep these things in place. We got this one done. Pause the video right now if you need to still complete some of these steps, and what we're going to do is we're going to transfer all that over to the second set. Once we get that done, click play. We'll be right back with you. So now that we have both assemblies completed, they should look something like this. What we're going to do is we're going to put one of these aside, and we're going to start installing the front half assembly onto the back half assembly. So what we're going to need to do now is we're going to need to get our final components for the hardware and the assembly of this portion of the kit. What this is going to be is we're going to need 1 of the 1/2-inch quarter 20s. This is part number 12 on the parts list. We're going to need another quarter 20 washer or 1/4-inch washer. That is part number 16 on the parts list, and then we're also going to need another square nut, which is going to be part number 15 on the parts list. You'll see on the outside extrusion, there's a fastening hole right here that's going to line up with this channel on the back side right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide that inside the channel. Remember, rounded side down. Make sure that we get a nice tight hold. And then washer on the nut, we'll slide that thing in there, make sure that they're aligned. Get that thing finger tight. Slide that in. Give it a quick turn. Make sure that this thing isn't sliding on us. And now we have 1/2 of our sled wheel assembly completed. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the second set fastened up, get that final part installed, and we'll be right back. All right, after completing that step, you should have 2 complete sled wheel assemblies that look something similar to this. And as you saw throughout the video, there are some section breaks in there. So if you have any questions or you want to review any specific parts of the build, you can certainly go back and watch those. If you think that we missed something, drop a comment in the section below. We'll try and cover it in a future video. If you haven't done so already and you liked the video today, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. And subscribe to our channel for future content. If you want to see it right away, make sure you hit that notification bell. For more information on sled wheels and all caliber products, make sure you visit our website at www.caliberproductsinc.com. Always remember, stay safe, get your ride on. We'll see you next time.